Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. I know you haven't seen me in a minute, so let me just say it's been crazy. It's been pretty crazy out here in Arizona. Oh, okay. So let me start this by introducing myself. My name is Dr. Princess Fumi Hancock. I am an African princess living in diaspora, an award-winning board-certified psychiatric mental health doctor of nurse practice. Of course, the CEO of Pool of Bethesda Psychiatric Health Clinics in Arizona. I'm also known as your compassionate trauma care maestro and an all-year personality, a life rehab ambassador. And what do? I help depressed, anxious, and overwhelmed families not only write their trauma stories, but rediscover their legacies. How do I do this? I achieve this through rehabilitative storytelling and teaching evidence based quality self care practices. Um, while I got you here, I want you to check out, I call them their cartoon. Got it? Cartoon. It's a cartoon, cartoon family, the Mavericks, on Instagram and online at myrehablifestyle.com. All right, so I got to thinking, I wanted to start talking about the pandemic, COVID-19, as well as our vision. How do we merge that? Do you remember back in December 2019, everybody was running around about their vision, 2020 vision, what your left eye see, let your right eye see it. This 2020 is going to be a powerful year. It's going to be an incredible year. And then we get into 2020 and bam, the whole world is hit with this pandemic, COVID-19. And all of a sudden, what I notice is everybody, right? Everybody's eyes, or majority of us, our eyes are now focused on COVID-19. This program, this broadcast is not to underestimate COVID-19, but it's to also stare us, right? To kind of stare our eyes off of it for a minute and begin to pull back and see what we can do to pivot our lives or pivot whatever it is that we are meant to do. And so we find ourselves in the middle of all this pandemic. Many of us are not doing quite well with it, right? So my condolences right now to those who have lost families, those who have lost friends. I too, for some reason, have lost at least two or three people that I'm familiar with. And then in the nursing field, I almost daily hear about somebody who is either passed away because of COVID-19, or perhaps they are right now in the hospital, even as much as the whole country is trying to get back on track, get back and get back. The fact still means that people are still dying. But in the midst of this pandemic, how do we begin to remember our 2020 vision? Because remember now, you were given that vision for a reason. You were given that vision in preparation for what is about to hit us. Many of us had clarity in 2019. We had complete clarity in December and November. We had written down the plans. We had written down all the things that we believed that we were supposed to do. And then suddenly we're hit by this and everything stopped to a halt because now we're all focused on COVID-19. So what do you do in the midst of COVID-19? What do you do in the midst of pandemic? What do you do in the midst of crisis? Because let me tell you this. As much as we have never experienced, many of us have never experienced this type of pandemic before, there is yet another pandemic that is brewing under this. Let me say that again, there's yet another pandemic brewing under the COVID-19. And if we're not prepared right now, many of us will not make it. And that's the pandemic of a mindset. What are you doing right now to begin to push and thrust forward your vision, 2020 vision? Even at myself as a practitioner, I've had to really go back and revamp my 2020 vision. I've got to go back and restructure and refocus and re-engineer. That's the word. Re-engineer what I thought I was given, what I knew that I was given. So I want you to begin to look at it this way, that I know it's a scary time. I know we don't understand what's going on. I know some of us are experiencing a shutdown in so many things, so many ways. I know some of us have lost our jobs. I know. But in the midst of that, would you believe that in the midst of pandemic, there can be something wonderful that can come out of it? I spoke with someone last night. He's in the entertainment industry. And he told me how just being still now has actually refocused him. Just being completely still, because before, prior to now, he was getting ready to go to Africa, getting ready to shoot documentary and all kinds of things. But now everything is shut down. But in the midst of it, in the midst of all this shutdown, he's actually bringing forth, he's birthing new things, What are the new things? What are the marvelous things you can birth in the midst of pandemic? I want you to remember that your 2020 vision has not gotten lost. It's not missing. It just needs a little bit of re-engineering. So I ask you today, number one, what was your 2020 vision? I want you to go back to that drawing board and begin to look at it. Yes, in the midst of this pandemic. Number two, how can I re-engineer, or as a friend of mine says, Florida, how can you pivot that which you're seeing mapping on the paper right now? How can you pivot it? How can you re-engineer it? Number three, understand that nothing, it doesn't matter what is being said out there, nothing is here to stay. Everything came so that it can pass. And what am I saying? And this too shall pass. Until next time, be inspired, be motivated, be of sentimental value. Understand that you are the hero in your own life story. So write it, and write it brilliantly. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye now.